The early morning air in Jerusalem is heavy. A crowd gathers outside the Roman governor's palace. Voices rise. Tension builds. Inside, a man stands silent. Jesus of Nazareth, bound, beaten, yet composed. Before him stands Pontius Pilate, the Roman authority, a man caught between justice and pressure. Pilate questions him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" John 18:33. Jesus answers calmly, "You say so." There is no fear in his voice, no resistance in his posture, only quiet authority. Outside, the crowd grows louder. The chief priests accuse him, their voices sharp. But Jesus does not defend himself. Pilate is puzzled. A man accused of so much, yet refusing to speak in his own defense. Then comes the choice. A custom during Passover. One prisoner could be released. Pilate offers the crowd a decision: Jesus or Barabbas, a known criminal, a rebel, a man guilty of violence. The crowd answers, not with hesitation, but with force. Barabbas! Pilate presses further. What shall I do then with Jesus who is called the Messiah? The response shakes the air. Crucify him! Again and again, the cry grows louder, more aggressive, more relentless. Crucify him! Pilate sees the crowd is beyond reason, and so he takes water, washes his hands before them. I am innocent of this man's blood, Matthew 27:24. But innocence cannot be declared when truth is ignored. And so the sentence is given. Jesus is handed over, not because he is guilty, but because the world has rejected him. The soldiers take him away, into the governor's headquarters, the place where punishment is carried out. There is no mercy here, only brutality. Jesus is stripped and scourged. The whip strikes again and again and again, each blow tearing into his back, pain spreading through his body, strength slowly fading. Yet he endures, without retaliation, without resistance, because this suffering has purpose. Then the soldiers begin their mockery. They twist together a crown, not of gold, but of thorns, sharp, piercing. They press it onto his head. Blood begins to flow. They place a robe on him, purple, a symbol of royalty, but here it is used for ridicule. They kneel before him, laughing. "Hail, King of the Jews!" They strike him, spit on him. The King of Heaven, mocked by those he created, and still he remains silent. The sentence now becomes visible. The instrument of death is brought forward, a cross, heavy, rough, unforgiving. It is placed upon his shoulders. The weight presses down on a body already broken, already weakened, and the journey begins, not just towards a location, but towards sacrifice. Every step forward is a step towards the fulfillment of purpose. The streets of Jerusalem come alive. Narrow pathways, stone walls, crowds gathering. Some come out of curiosity, others out of anger, and some out of sorrow. Jesus walks through the city, carrying the cross, each step slow, heavy, painful. The atmosphere is thick, voices echo. Some shout in mockery, some weep in silence. The city watches as the Savior walks towards death. This path will later be called the Via Dolorosa, the way of suffering. The weight becomes too much. His strength begins to fail. His body, already torn by scourging, cannot carry the burden easily. He stumbles, falls to the ground, the cross crashing beside him. Dust rises. Silence for a moment. Then shouting resumes. He struggles to rise. Pain surges through him, muscles trembling, breath heavy. And yet he stands again. Not because it is easy, but because the mission is not finished. Step by step, fall by fall, he continues forward, because love does not stop halfway. The soldiers watch closely. They see his weakness. They see his struggle, and they know he may not survive the journey. So they act. Among the crowd stands a man, Simon of Cyrene, a passerby, not a disciple, not a follower, just a man in the wrong place at the right time. The soldiers seize him, force him forward, and place the cross upon his shoulders. Now two men walk together, one carrying the weight physically, the other carrying something far greater. Simon steps into a story he did not choose, yet in that moment, he becomes part of the greatest act of sacrifice in history. As they move forward, a group gathers, women, weeping, mourning. Their cries fill the air. Their sorrow is real. Their grief is visible. They see the suffering. They feel the injustice. But Jesus, even in his pain, turns towards them and speaks. In Luke chapter 23, verses 28 to 31, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. Weep for yourselves and for your children." Even now, he is thinking beyond himself, beyond his own suffering. He sees what is coming: judgment, destruction, a future they cannot yet understand. And still, his words carry compassion. Even in pain, he teaches. The journey ends. They reach a place outside the city, a barren hill, known as Golgotha, the place of the skull. There is nothing peaceful here, only death, only execution. The cross is prepared. The moment has come. There is no turning back. The crowd gathers again, watching, waiting. The final act is about to begin. They lay him down, on the cross, his arms stretched wide. Then the nails, driven through his hands, through his feet. The sound echoes, sharp, final. Pain surges through his body, unimaginable. The cross is lifted, raised into place, and suddenly, he is suspended between heaven and earth. Every breath becomes a struggle. To inhale, he must push upward. To exhale, he must endure the pain again. This is not instant death. This is slow suffering, prolonged agony. And yet, he remains, because leaving would mean abandoning the mission. The crowd watches, some in silence, others in cruelty. The religious leaders mock him. He saved others, but he cannot save himself. The soldiers divide his garments, casting lots, treating his life as nothing more than a moment of entertainment. Above his head, an inscription reads, "Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews." What was meant as mockery becomes truth. Even in rejection, his identity remains. From the cross, Jesus speaks, each word carrying eternal weight. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Forgiveness in the face of cruelty. He turns to the criminal beside him and says, "Today you will be with me in paradise." Hope in the midst of death. And then, later, a cry breaks through the darkness. My God, why have you forsaken me?" The depth of spiritual suffering, the weight of sin, the feeling of separation. And finally, with breath fading,
He declares, "It is finished." The mission complete. Darkness covers the land. Midday turns to shadow. The atmosphere shifts. Something beyond human understanding is happening. Jesus takes his final breath and says, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." And then, silence. His body becomes still. The suffering ends. The sacrifice is complete. The earth responds. The ground shakes, rocks split, and inside the temple, the veil is torn in two, from top to bottom. The barrier between God and humanity removed. A Roman centurion, witnessing everything, says, "Surely this was the Son of God." The crowd begins to disperse. The noise fades. What remains is silence and a cross, standing alone. But this is not the end, because what happened on that cross changed everything. The Via Dolorosa was not just a road. It was a journey of love, a path of suffering leading to redemption. Jesus walked it willingly, through pain, through rejection, through death, because of love, for humanity, for you.